We are very grateful that he has taken time out of his schedule to join us here today. A good friend. Would you please welcome the Minority Leader of the State Assembly, Brian Kolb.
Well, how's everybody doing today? Lots of enthusiasm. Usually when I'm speaking at the nighttime version, there's a little bit less of that. Well, it's great to be here, and I want to thank NYSAC for extending the invitation for me to address you today. I won't take a lot of your time, but I think it is important to reinforce some of the things that the Assembly Republican Conference has stood for, not just today, not just last year, the year before that, and the year before that, because I would like to say very comfortably and very candidly that our conference has led the way on the debate and the push for mandate relief, not only for all the counties, but every municipality, town, village, and city government. And we don't say it as a throwaway line. A couple years back, we held a press conference with Steve and others at our side, talking about the issues that are important to you. I served on the County Board of Supervisors back in the 80s in Ontario County. I've been a town supervisor, I've been a school board member. I get it. And I think our conference gets it. And one of the things we're charged with in the minority, quite frankly, is to hold the majorities accountable. And also the governor, regardless who the governor is. And that's what we do every single day. Last year on the budget, we did a variety of amendments to the budget that were defeated by the majority in our House. And one of those amendments was to not phase in the Medicaid cap, but to cap it now. Because, yes, you're going to get relief in 3 years, but we believe you need relief now. Local governments are, you're as close to the people as anybody. And we understand, I understand that you've got to balance your budgets. You're trying to deal with the tax cap. You're trying to deal with declining revenues, an economy that keeps sputtering along. We need to do a lot of things to help you. Obviously, if we can get our economy really going in this state, I think things will get better all the way around. And that's why jobs have got to be the #1 priority. Economic development's got to be #1 priority. But specifically to your issues and to your cause, we will continue to be extremely outspoken. But I'll share you just a quick little story. I went to a breakfast last week in Rochester, and the Rochester Home Builders was putting on a little economic development forum talking about the local economy. And they had a couple different speakers there, and it was a great forum. But one of the local TV stations was there, and I know the reporter, so I went up, said hello, and I thought he was going to ask me to, get on camera, and of course he didn't, but that's okay. But I said, "Hey, Mark, how are you?" He said, "Brian, hey, great to see you." And he says to me, I'm not making this up, he goes, "Brian, if you send me one more email on unfunded mandates, I'm going to cry." And he says, "I'd really like to do a story about that, but management doesn't think it's a good story to talk about." And that's, quite frankly, sometimes the problem that we have is getting the message out to, I know you know it, but trying to get the taxpayers to really know it. And I know in Ontario County this year that they put out, with the tax bill, unfunded mandates, this is what it's costing you. Which, by the way, was a good idea because I've had constituents ask me about those unfunded state mandates. And we've pushed for eliminating them. We've pushed for putting a moratorium on them. We've pushed for trying to change all of those things that make your lives absolutely miserable. And I know that, quite frankly, if I had the magic wand, we can fix it. We've introduced two, as you know, Tier 5, Tier 6. Our conference was very supportive of those initiatives. I know that doesn't help you today, and we're still looking at the pension smoothing proposal that the governor's made, and if it makes sense, we're right there, we'll support it. So, but there still are things that I think have a difference, like chips. CHIPS funding. It looks like increased funding for CHIPS, but it's going to run through the Economic Development Council. I don't think that should happen. I think it should go directly to the counties for the roads and bridge repair. They know best how to do it, and shouldn't have another layer of folks to approve funding that you desperately need. The recent gun bill that was passed, exactly. I'm glad I mentioned that, huh? Steve says, nix that one. Well, I was actually going to talk about the mandate side of that bill with the county clerks who are not happy campers, because actually if they're going to have to deal with the actual program and running of the program and the registration, they should be getting the money from the state to pay for it. They should not be absorbing those costs. And I won't get into the, shall we say, the merits of that bill or not at this forum, because that's what we're here to talk about. But I can tell you that our conference debated close to 5 hours on the floor of the assembly on that bill. And that's what we do. I love to use the quote of Mark Twain, and we repeat that because I think it's our mantra as the Assembly Republican Caucus. It's not the size of the dog of the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And that's exactly what we do, is fight like hell, not just for you, but for taxpayers around the state, because our philosophy is less government, less taxes, more efficiency. We've talked about, just as an example, combining the Thruway Authority and the Department of Transportation, merging them to save taxpayers money. We fought off the toll increase that was going to hurt businesses. It's just a snippet of things that we've stood for over the years. So all I'm saying, Steve has been great, NYSAC has been great, my local county supervisors. I currently now represent just 2 counties, Ontario County and Seneca, the northern portion, because the counties that were mentioned earlier were last year's district. But I can tell you, my board of supervisors in both counties are, shall we say, relentless on sending us emails and reminding us about we need to do something, really do something about mandate relief. And all I just really want to leave you with, we're there with you. We're fighting for you. We'll continue to vote that way. And I've got 2 pieces of legislation. One is the Taxpayer Mandate Relief Act that's focused on county governments, and then there's another one for school districts. It's the most comprehensive mandate relief that deals with all the major topics. We can get you the bill numbers. It's there in black and white, and we're going to continue to push for these items for you, for the counties you represent. And I'm just going to say we got to work together, but you don't have to worry about having to convince our conference about the help you need, not just last year, but this year and next year going forward. So you've been a very kind audience. Thanks very much. Have a great day.